Well, everyone, another NFL season is underway, and what a thrill this is going to be for the 2025 season. I'm Arash Madani. I'm going to be your host of Flutie versus Stegall, quarterback, receiver, Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer. What a blast this is going to be as we work every single week towards Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. Doug Flutie, Milt, Stegall, fellas, how we doing?
Doing great, hanging out. Milt, go long. Just take off. I'm throwing it to the post. You better go get him.
Hey, I've been waiting for this opportunity for years, so I'm excited. Let's have some fun and let's enjoy some NFL football.
So you guys know of each other. You don't know each other too well. Talk a little bit about the dynamic the two of you know of each other from afar, guys. Doug?
Go ahead, Milt.
Yeah. Shucks, who doesn't know Doug Flutie? I've been knowing about him for years. I remember my first year with the Bengals, 1992. One of his former teammates from Boston College, Brian Brennan, used to talk about him all the time and talked about their great relationship and the great things they did at Boston College. So I knew about Doug Flutie before I finally got to see him, in person, playing against him, getting destroyed by him for years. So just an exciting opportunity for me. Doug Flutie, great individual, great player, not only in the NFL, also the CFL. So I'm excited about this opportunity we have to talk some NFL football.
Yeah, for me, getting to know Milt, just watching him run, watching him play, big play guy down the field. I'm like, I need one of those on each side of the field, and we're good to go. It's just. I said this about Milt wouldn't catch the ball unless it's a 40-yard pass. I mean, Milt's his yards per catch were ridiculous. Just a big play guy, game changer, and I enjoyed watching him play.
Fellas, we're going to have a great season. We're going to be talking a lot about the National Football League, a lot about the games. We are powered by BODOG for Flutie versus Stegall here in the 2025 season. Look, we're going to get to some games, we're going to get to some picks, but I want to get to a couple of storylines that really took charge through the opening week of the season. And I think we have to start in Dallas because, well, where else are we going to start? America's team is always the tabloid part of this whole business, and it's intriguing to have a quarterback and a receiver for this conversation. CeeDee Lamb is Pro Football Focus credits him with 4 drops. I don't know if credit's the right word. A couple of those drops coming in the fourth quarter. And of course it gets magnified because it's opening day and because it's against a division opponent that just happens to be Philadelphia. Now, afterwards, Lamb said that he texted Dak Prescott after the drops and said, "Look, you can trust me. I got you." And what Lamb said is Dak replied back and said, "I'm not going to stop throwing you the ball. That's the game. I'm not going to lose confidence in you." Fellas, let's go behind the curtain here. It's opening day. Here's a couple of guys who've worked together for a few seasons already. Doug, your main guy with a bunch of drops right away. How do you handle that situation?
You shake it off, especially game day. I mean, you've built a trust in practice every day. You throw the ball to this guy, you trust him, he's your big play guy. And no one feels worse than the guy that actually dropped the ball.
Right.
So you might, your first reaction is, damn, and we just, we're punting, you're walking off the field. It was a 3rd down conversion. So you're frustrated in the moment that you didn't convert. He feels worse than you do about it, and you're not going to hesitate to throw him the ball again. Now, this whole thing with coming back the next play and get it in his hands right away, that's a coincidence. That just, you call the next play. You're not good enough, especially in the NFL, to say, "Oh, no, I've got to throw the ball to CeeDee Lamb on this next play," because no, he's your guy. He's your guy. He feels sick to his stomach about it. Your trust has already been built. You're not even flinching. You're coming right back when the situation calls for it.
Well, first of all, Dak has to keep throwing to CeeDee Lamb. He's making $30-something million a year. So if he doesn't throw to him, Jerry Jones is going to have some problems. So, but the one thing CeeDee has to do, he has to put it behind him. You have to move on. You're not making that type of money if you weren't a top quality receiver. You've made a bunch of plays in your career. You've made a bunch of catches, all the tough catches. You've done all that. You just had a bad game. And if you're a strong mentally person, you put it behind you, move on. Don't make a big deal out of it. It was the first game. Yes, you dropped some balls. Yes, you're expected to make those catches 10 out of 9 times because of the amount of money you make. But you just got to put it behind you, move on. Don't make a big deal out of it. I saw a video of him afterwards he went back and he started catching some balls.
Right off the jugs machine, Milt.
You should do that when you have a big game. If you're a top guy, you do that when you have a big game, not just when you have a struggle game. You do that all the time, and we don't need to see the video of it. We don't need to see that. Put it behind you, move on.
No, my question is, why are the text messages public? Yeah. Why is that public? That's ridiculous.
And even CeeDee came out and said, I didn't want the jug stuff going public, but it just did. I guess we just live in that kind of society right now.
Everybody, but you have to post that you went to the bathroom. You got to post that no, look, this is you and me, right? We talk about it on the sideline for a second. I got you. You got me. We're good to go.
We move on.
And then keep playing football.
That's it.
Good news for Dallas. They play the grease fire that is the New York Giants this week. We're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show with Flutie versus Stegall, powered by BODOG. Okay, the game of the week. It's America's game of the week. Your boy Tom Brady, Doug, and everybody at Fox is going to be down there in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes has never started 0-2 in his career, except now the Super Bowl champs roll into town on a long week. Jalen Hurts and company. Doug, is this the year Sir Patrick has some questions after the second week of the season?
Barkley carrying the ball. You got Brown and Devontae Smith, and the way they looked week one was lights out. I say yes. I say KC goes 0-2. And I love Patrick Mahomes. Don't get me wrong. I love Patrick Mahomes and everything he does. Throws the ball off his back foot, falling away. You get all out blitz. You can just give ground and still throw the post or a corner route or something down the field. He makes it happen. But I tell you what, they looked so good. Hurts looked great throwing the ball out of the pocket, moving around and converting first downs on the scram, all that stuff. I honestly believe they start 0-2.
You know what struck me, guys? Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy almost colliding on a route. Yeah. I'm like, man, this offense, Milt, it didn't seem like they were in sync.
It didn't look the same. Their top receiver, Rice, he's suspended. They're saying Worthy, he's a game-time decision. Kelce is, I won't say old, he's seasoned. The Eagles are looking great, but it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still Patrick Mahomes. He will not start the season 0-2. And I think the Eagles are definitely a better team. I mean, you mentioned that, Doug, all the weapons they have, but it's still Patrick Mahomes. I'm not betting against him to start 0-2. Will they get back to the Super Bowl? Will they be as dominant as they've been in past years? No. But Patrick Mahomes will not have that on his resume, and because of that, they're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. Stegall says KC. Flutie says Philadelphia. I want to get to one other kind of storyline of the week, because here you have opening day in the NFL going up against the U.S. Open final. And I look up, I'm watching a little bit of the tennis. I got the football on, and I'm like, okay, it's 30 love Alcaraz, and it's 30 love Colts over the Miami Dolphins. I mean,
time out. You're watching tennis.
I'm watching both, Doug.
I'm watching tennis. Both. They're running around in their shorts, hitting the ball over a net, and you got week one of the NFL.
Well,
okay, go ahead. We know who you are. There we go.
Daniel Jones versus Tua didn't really kind of...
Man. Hey, I would have watched some pickleball over that.
Pickleball!
I don't know. I'm listening to Brady yesterday on Colin Cowherd, and he says, everybody blames the quarterback sometimes. And Tom says no one's talking about the head coach and the coordinator when it comes to quarterback development. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering about Mike McDaniel, man. Like, how much longer can this continue in Miami? They're home to New England this week. We know what it's like on the visitor's sideline when that sun is beating down in South Florida. But Brian Daboll already seems like he's on the hot seat, and Doug, Mike McDaniel may be the same.
Yeah, I've never been a big Mike McDaniel guy. Reinventing the wheel, the attitude around practice and walking around. You need total respect from your players, and they need to know who's in charge. That's number one. The second aspect of this, and I'm looking at, I went back, watched some of the highlights again from the game, and watching Tua. Tua is the type of guy that needs to be like a Jalen Hurts and run for some first downs, take off, make some plays, extend plays. He can throw the ball from the – he's got a big-time arm. But he's not going to stand there in the pocket and win the game from the pocket from beginning to end. And I think since his concussions, he's not running the ball as much. He's not taking off. He's not extending. He had one rush for 7 yards. That's not Tua. And that's not the way he's going to win. Let's put it that way. So I think there's something there because of the concussions. They backed off with the quarterback runs and some of the, the RPO type of game, some of the things that he does really well, and he's trying to win from the pocket.
Well, they have to keep him around. They invested in him, and I was surprised they gave him that big contract after the concussions he suffered. But the one thing that really stood out to me was, okay, we lost our first game, and they had a players-only meeting.
Yeah,
this was your first game, and I know it was to Daniels and the Indianapolis coach, but this was your first game. That means there's some problem within that coaching staff. If you have to have a players-only meeting after your first game, and you mentioned it, respect. I don't think there's any respect left for McDaniel. If they lose a few more games, he may be the first coach gone. I know we talk about the Giants coach, but Daniels may be the first coach gone if they lose it because there's no respect there. And if you don't have respect your coach, you're not going to go out there and fight for him. You're not going to go out there and sacrifice for him if you don't respect him. Then that respect may be gone, and he may be gone to the head coach.
Guys, I've been around a lot of sports and a lot of teams and a lot of leagues. I never heard of a players-only meeting after game one.
That is crazy.
Some of the guys say that the player-only meetings, you get a lot of frustrations vented, and everybody I was never a big players-only meeting guy. I talk to guys one-on-one. My receiver core or running back or offensive line, we're talking our side of the ball. We get on the corner, we talk about things, but a lot of times guys just think they can get into a players only and they rant and rave and the loudest guy is right. And they start, it's like, this is, I don't know. I was never big on that. I was big on talking to guys one-on-one about whether it's just game plan, routes, work ethic, things of that nature.
I hated them too, Doug. They made no sense. They didn't help out. And I had a few in the NFL and the CFL, and every single time we had them, we didn't help out. We just needed some better players. At the end of the day, you need better players. A player-only meeting is not going to help out. Get some better players or get a different coaching staff. That's what you need to do.
All right, it's Flutie versus Stegall. It's powered by BODOG. We're counting down towards week 2 in the National Football League season. Each of our guys have 3 picks. We have a lock, we have an underdog, we have a coin toss. Let's start right there in Miami. Doug, I can't call you a homer because you played for a few teams, but you like New England to beat the Dolphins this week. Why?
Yeah, that's a pretty even matchup. We try to pick one of the games as an even matchup, and I just like Mike Vrabel. I like the change in culture. I was around those guys. I saw the difference from last year to this year. Drake May at quarterback, I think, is going to be the real deal once he's surrounded with weapons. He's mobile enough and makes some athletic plays to extend plays. They do have a situation with their defense coordinator being out, but Gerard Mayo is coming back to take over the defense, and that should be a smooth transition. The biggest stepping stone for them, and it's early in the season, is going south to Miami in the heat and humidity, and that always seems to bother them. But I'm picking them over the Patriots over the Dolphins.
Milt, I want to get to your underdog pick. I think this is a great one. Doug, I want to get your take on Milt's thoughts too. Chicago plays Monday night at home. Caleb looked off. They go into Detroit. They're a 1-touchdown underdog. And the Lions look like a bit of a mess against Green Bay on opening day. Now, that's just 1 week. Division game. But you like Chicago to beat Detroit. You like Dan Campbell's team that got to the NFC, that had the number 1 seed in the NFC last year to start 0-2. Why?
The Bears. It's because this team is starting over. It's not the players. They got an entirely different coaching staff. Dan Campbell is basically the only coach left over from last year. They lost their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and then they lost 5 assistant coaches. So, yes, it's the same players, but these same players don't know this system yet. They don't know what their identity is. That two-headed running back system they had, that's not working. Golf didn't have a great game. And I know it's just only one game, but they just didn't look in sync. And when you've had the success they had in previous years, especially last year, you'd think they would hit the ground running with that team, but they weren't able to do it. And Caleb Williams, I know he didn't have the game he could have had, but the way he started off, I saw some promise. I think he was 9 for 9 or 10 for 10, and he just missed some throws later on, and he gave it a good run. I think he's going to hit the ground running, and I think they come out with the victory over those Detroit Lions. And Detroit Lions start 0-2, Dan Campbell. Oh, my goodness, it's not going to be pretty. That interview after the game is not going to be pretty, and I think that's going to be the case.
Caleb's legs were such a weapon against Minnesota. Doug, do you see Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions starting 0-2?
I think so. I agree with they just talking about starting with new offenses and starting fresh. When you've been in a system from week 1 to week 8, big difference. From year 1 to year 2, bigger difference. Guys, I was always jealous my whole career, guys like Tom Brady that could stay in one system, one offense, build on something for year after year. So it's all become second nature. There's no thinking. You're just reacting. You see a certain look and you go to a play and everybody knows it and everybody has their splits down. They adjust. That stuff isn't second nature when you're in your first year.
Okay, we talked about KC Philadelphia. That's what most of the people in the 4 o'clock window are going to be watching. I find this Indianapolis-Denver game very intriguing because of what Daniel Jones and the Colts offense did and how Bo Nix and that Denver offense. I think there was a lot of thoughts that year 2, Nix is going to pick up where he left off. That offense struggled against Tennessee last week. Doug, you like the Colts over the Broncos this week. Why? It's effectively a pick 'em. Why?
Yeah. I loved Daniel Jones last week. I think a lot of times when you have that fresh start, the weight of the world is lifted off your shoulders. I covered this kid in college. He's a smart kid. Sometimes when you care too much, it makes you, I don't know, it handcuffs you a little bit. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. The change of scenery for him is night and day. The change of scenery for him has lifted the weight of the world off his shoulders, and he's going to start really playing. And he showed it last week.
The 49ers situation is so interesting because here comes San Francisco for the first time in like pre-pandemic. There are no expectations on Kyle Shanahan's team. They give Brock Purdy the bag, and then week 1, Kittle's out multiple weeks with a hamstring. Purdy's got a turf toe thing that some reports are as little as 2 weeks out, some as much as 5. Niners still go in as a favorite into New Orleans, and what a mess that is with the Saints right now. Milt, this is a game that you kind of had on your radar, and you're saying it's a coin flip. San Francisco.
It's a coin flip. The 49ers, because of those injuries, they're on par with the New Orleans Saints, and that's not good to say because Spencer Rattler is the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. So they're on par. Purdy is out. Kittle is out. They're saying McCaffrey, because of his calf, he may be a game-time decision. So I wouldn't be surprised if the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans can come away with a victory. Spencer Rattler just needs to play solid. He doesn't need to go out there and win the game. Just don't lose the game, and you have an opportunity because the 49ers, yes, they have a pretty good defense, but where are they going to get their points from? Who's going to throw the ball? Who's going to catch the ball? Mac Jones is your starting quarterback right now? Spencer Rattler against Mac Jones. Man, I'm already losing more hair over that.
My wife last night, my wife goes, Mac Jones is starting for San Francisco. I got to change my pick. She has her family. She's changing her pick because Mac Jones is starting for San Francisco.
Yes. So don't be surprised if New Orleans Saints come away with a victory in that game. I don't know who's going to win that one.
So if that happens, the pressure suddenly shifts to Brock Purdy to get that toe right. And turf toe needs time, Doug.
Yeah, well, see, this is the different – we were talking different generations now playing football. In our day, they shoot that turf toe up. You run out and play. Tim DeWhite in San Diego was shooting his turf toe up every week, walking around in the boot all week long, not practicing, standing behind the huddle, watching, getting just visual reps, line up on game day and just go. And you pay for it in the long run, and it's a different era. They're going to wait till it gets healed up, and I don't know what that is, 2 to 5 weeks potentially. Those things linger. Now being a quarterback's different from being a receiver. I mean, he's not sprinting down the field and cutting hard on it all the time, so maybe he can get back quicker.
So are you saying this newer generation is soft? Is that what you're saying, Doug?
I don't think it's the guys are soft. I don't think it's the guy. It's the agent. And man, it's like, I got to prolong my career. I got to play it's like pitch count in baseball. I was at a minor league game the other day, and I threw a little bit with the kid. And I'm talking about, I pitched a game where I threw 135 pitches. The starter struggled the next game. I turned around, came in the first inning, pitched another 9 innings the next day. It's just you did it. There was no pitch count. There's no longevity worrying. And that's what's going on is you're in his ear. You got to get this right, and you're talking about a long career instead of ruining that foot for a couple of weeks.
Don't let the front offices off the hook now, Doug. They have all their analytics and all the answers are in that binder. They know exactly what it's supposed to be.
Analytics. Sometimes you got to bunt the ball and move the runner over and quit trying for 3-run homers. I don't know. The whole analytic game, it's a feel. It's like, hey, I can beat this guy.
Trust your eyes.
You know what?
Yep.
You know what? He's limping a little. I'm going to double move him and I'm gone. Give me the ball.
There it is.
Yeah. We're the analytics on your right guard telling you, look, we're blowing. I don't know what's wrong with him, but we are blowing this guy off the ball.
Let's run this way. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. No, I'm with you.
Flutie versus Stegall, powered by BODOG. Let's wrap with this one, guys. Biggest point spread of the week. Double-digit point spread. Baltimore against Cleveland. Joe Flacco returns to Maryland for the first time. I mean, which is wild to think about when you think about Flacco's quarterback journey, and it's the 30th anniversary of the Ravens.
Homecoming.
Ray and all the guys are going to be there for the festivities. I mean, you forget that for all of training camp, all we heard about was Shedeur, and now it's Flacco who's the number one guy there. You guys have all gone into situations where somebody's got that chip on their shoulder playing against their former team. Can Cleveland keep this close? They're right there against the Bengals. They couldn't get out of their way when push came to shove. I think it opened around 11 and a half. That's a lot. What can we expect from Joe Flacco returning to Baltimore?
I think he comes out and looks efficient early and is fired up to play, and everything looks, they're not even going to be able to match up. I mean, it's how many points is Baltimore going to score in this game is the question. Joe, you're returning home. It's a pain in the neck. You're glad-handing, saying hi to everybody. People want to come by the hotel the night before and say hi. You want to make sure everybody's taken care of. And then you're fired up to play. You go out, but he just doesn't have the manpower to match up against Baltimore. I mean, Lamar Jackson looked amazing last week, even though they somehow lost that game. Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, they're so explosive. And it'll be fun for about a quarter.
The worst thing Joe Flacco can do is let his feelings get involved in this game. There's a lot going into this game. This is the 30th year anniversary of Baltimore, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they are playing the Cleveland Browns, the city where Art Modell left Cleveland in the middle of the night and moved to Baltimore. It's like a homecoming game. In homecoming in college and high school, you play a team you basically plan on destroying. And that's why they picked the Cleveland Browns. As I mentioned, this is not a coincidence. Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco's coming back, the last quarterback to win them the Super Bowl. So do they have an opportunity? Of course they do. It's professional football. Will they win? Of course they won't. It's the Cleveland Browns. But he just can't let his feelings get in the way. And maybe they can keep it close early on, like Doug said, but they don't have a chance to win.
I love Joe Flacco, and I love the veteran guy that has a chance to get back and prove himself again and again. And that's why you play a veteran over the young guy, because he's going to be consistent beginning and end and all that. But Cleveland and the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns are where quarterbacks go to die and end their careers. Good luck, Joe. Hang in there. I hope you don't get beat up. Go get him.
Hey, don't sell the Miami Dolphins short. What have they done since Marino?
Can you go there to?
It's
Can quarterback
Marino,
go
huh?
there to die? Is that what you're saying?
All right, so let's rack up the picks here. Milt's lock: Cowboys over Giants. The underdog: Chicago to knock off Detroit, and the coin toss game of the week for Milt: 49ers and Saints. No Brock Purdy for San Francisco. Meanwhile, Doug's moneyline lock: Ravens over Browns. He likes the Colts to start 2-0 with a win over the Broncos, and the pick'em: New England over Miami. This has been Flutie versus Stegall, powered by BODOG. Fellas, we have ourselves a show. This is going to be a lot of fun over the course of the NFL season.
Yes,
Fun.
yes.
It's going to be fun. We'll get into it a little bit. We'll disagree a few times.
Right. It's
But,
awesome.
And we're going to tell a lot of fun stories. So
the bottom line,
buckle up.
it's very simple, Milt. Get open and catch the ball, will you?
That's it, baby.
All
I
right.
know you can get it to me.
And if you drop the ball, Milt, let's not have the text message go public. This has been Flutie versus Stegall, episode 1. We'll see you all next week. It's been powered by BODOG. Thanks for watching, everyone.